Hello and welcome to the drive home from work, and today is decision time when it comes to the DJI Action 2 and the Insta360 Go 2. Whew, that's hot. Which one am I going to keep and why? So if you are in the market for one of these cameras and you're trying to make a decision yourself of which one to purchase, because they're both kind of like in the same category when it comes to style of camera, smallness, that kind of thing, semi-action I call it, then you want to take my opinion and see what you want to do with it and make your decision elsewhere. So you can watch a number of videos right now online of comparisons to all different cameras, so how they look on screen, specs, unboxing, all that kind of stuff. This is more about how my decision is made on which one I'm keeping. Right now, out of curiosity, I plugged in a lav mic right here into the device, and I'll do a video on that later on, but we'll see how that sounds. I'll unplug it later on and we'll kind of give you an idea what the difference of the two are. So let me give a bit of background of what I use the camera for. So for an action style camera like this, I would want to use it, number one, for vacation, with this being a camera you can wear like on a pinion, a magnet against your shirt. It's out of the way, you're not using your hands or anything. That way you can kind of put it on, leave it on, and then when you want to film, you just hit the button or take it off, film something, and put it back where it was. Kind of frees up your hands for other things that you might want to use. Also, you may want to be using a bigger camera to take photographs, and you don't want to be getting it out the action camera, out of your bag, for a ride or whatever else you're going to do. You want to kind of keep it right there, have it right there the whole time. You also have ability to mount it to your hat. I did a silly video where I used the string to mount. Honestly, I wouldn't do that in the real world. That's silly. But I'm sure as this camera gets out there more, there'll be plenty of things on Amazon that you can buy to mount all different ways for this camera. Hopefully there'll be a mount clip out there later on you can mount to your hat or something like that to match what Insta360 does. That's one thing. So our vacation stuff, filming like that. I work around water a lot, so I'm around pools, ocean, that kind of stuff. So I like water. I want to obviously use this in the water. I want to show you some videos later on to kind of help me make my decision between the two cameras about underwater stuff. And then also have a small photography style camera that you want to take out, get a quick photo, put it back, to get a different perspective, a different look, a different angle, things you can't normally get with bigger cameras. We've all seen it out there. Put them in whatever, put them inside of a glass, a beer mug, places are hard to get, all that kind of stuff you want to use a small camera for. So I leave the magnet on the top here, and I could basically stick it anywhere on the car I want. I have to pull it off. It sticks pretty hard. Now I wouldn't go like 80, 90 miles an hour down the road and just do whatever. I would do slower speeds, 35, 40, fine. You could stick it low down here to get a shot like that. And I just did a video like that. I'll show you what it looks like. You could be a little more brave. You could take this part off. And then, now again, don't go super fast, but it takes a little effort to push that over. The Insta360 Go 2 got so many good reviews online from a lot of reviewers, whether they're sponsored or not sponsored. It was a consistent, not so great in film quality and footage wise, but it does the job and they like what they get. So when the Action was about to come out, I got rid of my GoPro 10 thinking that this would be something like the original Action, and I wasn't really happy with GoPro and all this stuff before. I have an old GoPro 7. I use a 9 at work once in a while, so I still have access to GoPros, and that's kind of when I want to try something different. So I purchased the Insta360. I took it diving. You saw that video. If not, check out my other videos. I went diving with it. Long story short, it might have been long, ready? Why am I choosing the Action over the Insta? Number one, better image quality from the DJI Action. Insta has that more of a, almost like a film over it, where it doesn't look as crisp and clean as the Action does, or even the GoPros. And it's a small camera, I understand that, and I get why it's that way. What really pushed me over the edge with image quality was the underwater. The underwater, like in a pool, the difference between the two, I'll show you this now, is night and day, the difference of quality. For some reason, when I do the Insta, I take off the lens cover, because you can't put that on because it gets kind of like fogged up or water inside of it. So you take it off so it's clean, but it's just fuzzy. It's unclear. It's not good. It's something I would delete all the footage I got from that thing inside of a pool. Footage from scuba was okay, but the GoPro blew it out of the water. So underwater stuff, Insta, not for me. And that was the biggest factor, the reason why I didn't choose the Insta. Other things for ergonomic wise with the Insta, I found the button stuff a little, like, you're kind of guessing a little bit of what you're doing. Hopefully it works correctly. You'll find out later on, kind of thing. If you just use the camera itself and you're put in your pocket, it's easy to mash that button and it turn on while you're not knowing it. That's turning on, and then it runs out the battery, runs out the footage because you don't have much to deal with, and then you can't really delete certain files. So if you're out and about, even with the case, and you film something all day long, and all of a sudden you leave it in your pocket and it runs for like 5 minutes or so, and like and you want to delete that particular footage, I don't think you can do it without getting into a computer, because there's no screen or anything showing you your files. Basically, you format the card completely, or you just deal with it. And if you run out of footage, you run out of footage. So I didn't like that aspect. The other ergonomic aspect is that with the DJI, I can still access all the settings. I can change anything I want to with just a small camera, which you need the case for the Insta to do that. Now, a lot of these things might not pertain to you. You might always have the case with you, and that's great. And you want a cheaper price, that's great. And you want to have the hat clip and use the Insta software, go for it. When it comes to software, I didn't mind it after a while. The first times I used it, I didn't mind processing the video either through my phone app or through the desktop app to process my files. I didn't mind that. Then it got old, and then the footage kept building and building up. So you have like all these files that come into play. You have like a low resolution file. You have the I do pro video. You have the pro video, and then you want to go ahead and process a file and maybe denoise it and all that kind of stuff to make it usable. Then you have a third file out there. So you have 3 files, and the files get big. So again, I think I said before, let's say you have a 1 gigabyte file from a footage. If you process that footage, it turns approximately into about a 2 gig file. And for what you get for all that data is not that great quality for me. So you have to go back and manage that file system. You have to manage all that stuff and delete stuff you're not going to use to build up your hard drive issue, right? Again, go back to image quality real quick and the photo stuff. I thought photos, the DJI Action blew photos out of the water when it comes to the Insta. First, taking a picture with the Insta was kind of like very slow, because you, even without the case or with the case, you hit photo it vibrates. You don't know actually when it took that picture, and then it goes away. So it's fine for like a landscape shot, but for like an action shot, you want to get a photo of whatever, you're not exactly sure when that shutter goes off. And then the image quality was just nothing you would want to post or do anything with, so nah. The slow motion video out of the was, again, you're dropping down to 1080, or it's kind of like meh. And it was just too many of the yes, like with Insta, so I was like, let's go back to DJI Action and let's see what that can do. And the photos, I put some on Instagram. I mean, if you creep in and you pull in and you crop in, you're like, ooh. But the initial look of them, I love the colors and the crispy aspect of it. Nighttime stuff, low light, the Action does a lot better. It's not great. It's not great at all. I would avoid it if I can. I have the Pocket too, and I would use that all day long. When the light starts going down, this needs to go away, and the Pocket 2 on the camera needs to come out. So with all these reasons and of going back and forth, the Action wins this contest for me. Now, is the Action the best thing in the world, the Action 2? No, it's got a lot of issues, and I'll see if it overheats right now, but it's a lot more interesting, like the plug in a lav mic without having to buy a whole setup, like on the GoPro, a whole media mod. I can just plug it in. I'm using an Apple cord to do it, and I'll give a link to the video where I got that tip from. So let me know what you think. Let me go ahead and pull the audio out real quick. All right, the audio is now out, and I'll talk the remainder of my time. So now, whether I think it's necessary to have the screen, I don't think so. I mean, it's a wide angle lens. You're going to be in the shot, right? I don't know how much I'm going to use this. Maybe the microphones is a thing, but it sounds pretty darn good with just the camera itself. So I don't know if the screen investment is really necessary. Camera, will I want to return it and then just get the power only one? I think if I was at the drawing table again, if I was about to punch the button, you've had the knowledge of how to use this thing and you've used it before, I think the power is just fine. I don't think you need to have the screen to make it like a lot better. The sound difference is going to be pretty much, if you were looking to pick up a surround stereo sound around you, then yeah, get the screen one. But if you focused on not much of the vocal stuff, you want to get the shot and you dub it out with music or whatever else you want to do, then don't worry about getting the screen and the 3 other microphones. Get the power one and save like $120, I think it is. That's a pretty good savings. So that is probably a better option to do. Okay, that's it for this one. I'll come back and do a little more talk about the microphones in a separate video, but I wanted to give you a taste of that now. Thanks for watching. Please, I know most of my people that watch these videos don't subscribe. They just kind of watch and go on to the next one. Take a half second, subscribe to the video, like it at least before you move on to the next one. It's like giving a tip to your bartender or something like that, and it costs you nothing. All right, you guys have a good one, and I'm going to get some gas because I am low.
Love is gonna set me free.